1 second.
Yeah, we're just making sure because it feels like no comments are coming in. And then I want to talk to you guys about like how long does it take to keto adapt if you're doing keto or keto carnivore. If you're doing low carb, high fat, and there's still starch involved, you're not going to adapt. But you can still listen to the client stories that have a lot to do with doing either or one of the 3 dietary measures on how to keto adapt. And I have a feeling we're not live.
Oh, we're live.
Do you see comments coming in on your phone?
Now we're live, and I don't see any comments on my phone.
Let's end this one and start it again, because I just really want to make sure. Oh nope, here it comes.
It's
All right.
public. Oh.
DeWitt. Now they're coming. My tech guy's trying to work it out. So yeah.
They're coming?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I want to talk to you guys about some things because somebody asked in my last live stream to talk about some client stories, and I actually want to get some clients in a video where they can tell you themselves their experience with having me coach them or just their ketogenic experience. So with that said, if you guys have any comments at any time, feel free. I'm having a feeling that, thanks so much for doing this video. You're welcome to it. So the Greek guy, can you see the comments coming in?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Can you see the comments coming?
Yeah, normally there's more though. It's kind of weird. It's like really slow.
I don't
See?
know.
Okay, they're all coming.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Stacy. Now, people, when I do my consultations, people will often ask me, how long will it take to keto adapt? And then I'm like, okay, well, let's go through your entire background. I can see them on Skype or on FaceTime. Sometimes we do Facebook live chatting or Google Hangouts or WhatsApp or whatever you have that you have a video involved. And I like that now. I did a lot of phone consultations before, but when you can't see that person, it's like trying to fix somebody literally with your eyes closed. And I was speaking to this woman, and I think she was like 5'5". I don't remember exactly how tall. 5'4" or 5'5". And if you're watching, just love this story because I have to pass it on. We were talking, and I was like, okay, give me the rundown of your day. I ask for that of people. Let's take a snapshot of your day. Give me a typical day in your life. Go. And I also often will guide them. I'm tripping up my words because I'm watching myself on video. It is bizarro. Like my background. Okay. The point is that she said, okay, well, I go to work at 9. I was like, okay. And I'm done working by 5. And I was like, okay. And then she goes, and then I take a nap from, I think it was like something like 6 to, what did she say? 6 to around 11. I was like, okay. She goes, and then I go to my second job. I was like, I'm sorry, what'd you say? She goes, well, I go to my second job. And I said, well, what are the hours of your second job? She goes, well, I work from midnight. Do a consultation face-to-face if you're in LA. Yes, but I charge a little bit more just for the effort of having to meet people, and I tend to go a bit overtime, giving you that Stephanie love. But with that said, she said that she went to her second job at 12 midnight to 8. And then had an hour break to then go to her job again. It was like, so the only time you sleep is between 6 and 11. She's like, yeah. And I'm like, how are you still alive? How do you still have a pulse? And I was like, you're not going to adapt well in this. So I tried to ask her all of the questions about adrenal health, crashing, her blood sugar, her blood pressure. A lot of guys are suffering from high blood pressure, and it's commonly due to not sleeping well. So your body follows a circadian rhythm, And you can't get out of that. I keep explaining this to people. Stop. When the sun goes down, your endocrine system starts to shift your energy. And it wants to go from high to low. And that's to slow everything down. Because if your body's running at like super high speed, it can't repair very well once you finally go to bed. And so there's just nothing you can do. Once the sun goes down, your endocrine system begins to change to prepare itself for hibernation. And the biggest problem with keto adapting is that people don't sleep well. And they will straight up tell me in these consultations, I sleep so well. So, some of these stories never cease to kind of shock me. So I really tried to tell her, please quit this second job soon, because you're gonna really do some damage to your endocrine system and your adrenal system. The adrenal glands are kind of a big thing. Now, before I go into the adrenal glands, I want to talk about a thyroid story for the thyroid people. Now, it's been enough years to where I feel that the woman who told me this story probably is not even doing keto anymore or watching my channel, so here we go. So it was an older woman, I think she was in her 60s, and I'm in my 50s, so I shouldn't call her older, right? So, she was telling me about keto and that she has Hashimoto's and which is a thyroid disorder, hyper and hypo combination. And a lot of people who develop thyroid issues have constipation. And that's why most of the consultations that I do, I find women to be constipated. So a lot of people don't understand what constipation is. They think that they're pooping every day, that they're not constipated. No, y'all. Y'all are constipated. If you don't empty your bowels, like one big, like the gate, right? The chute opens, and then everything goes boom, 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 boom. Out, like it flows, right? It's just clean booty. Nice one clean wipe, all comes out. That's when you're not constipated. When you are constipated, it's nonstop. Okay, this is true. Work factory. Okay, yeah. Can we go back down to some of the comments because I just start seeing them now? Can we scroll down?
Without me looking at it.
I know exactly right. Okay, so we got Lindsay. Lindsay McGuire said the last thing at the top. Because I don't know if there was anything before that. Somebody was talking about 2-hour eating. So I wasn't even. I'm in a new studio, you guys, at Liberate, and what's the website, by the way? Is it liberate.com?
LiberateHollywood.com.
Okay, there you go. LiberateHollywood.com. I can make fun of him because when I went to Sweden and had to learn Swedish, people can make fun of my svenska all day, trust.
I can't.
You can't?
Can't right now
I
because
guess
I can't.
we can on the phone though.
Yeah.
It's okay. So, y'all don't complain now that, things aren't going perfectly. Y'all should be happy I'm freaking finally in a studio. Okay, well, I'll just wait for you to pull up the comments on your phone so I can connect with the audience. What has kept you from going raw, keto, carnivore? I have. Okay, perfect. Thank you. So I have gone raw. I went raw for about a month, and I still do raw. Like, I'm not doing like raw chicken. I'm not doing raw eggs, for example. I do raw liver from time to time, but I don't do raw pork, and I don't do raw eggs, pork. What else do I? Chicken I don't do raw. Like, I don't trust that. That's just me. And then it's okay. You can use your phone. That works even better.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you though. Because then yeah. So yeah, to answer your question, I do raw. So, Elias Patterson, he says, what kept you up? Okay, that's the one I read. Raw beef is rad. So, I actually prefer beef. And if you ever get, like, sometimes I'll go to Whole Foods and they won't have grass-fed. They'll just have, like grass-fed, like, leaner meats, like the leg or the butt. And I'm like, well, if it's raw, you don't even have to cook it. It's so much softer. It's just the fat that's kind of gristly or tough. But the meat itself on a leaner grass-fed beef is really soft and tender. And I just go like this with a little Celtic or some Redmond's real salt. Done. It's so delicious. Now, when you take beef, when I cook it, it doesn't feel, it feels kind of dry. Now, why are you asking about Dr. McDougal? He's losing his mind. Yeah, that's the wrong question to ask. We're on channel. I mean, y'all just go Google him now. He's literally losing his mind. Now, the client. So, this client had Hashimoto's, and she was telling me that she developed fissures. Now, at that time, I didn't know what a fissure was. So, let's go into a fissure. Okay, so the kind of fissure she had was a rectal tear. And a rectal tear came from chronic constipation from having low thyroid and just low thyroid hormone. TSH high, TPO like high, her T3, her reverse T3, everything was a mess. So she's got it bad. Now, what happened to her was, we're learning this, right? See that? See that Greek white man?
The Greek hand.
The Greek hand. He's like one of my best friends, without a doubt. Ooh, I'm loving this background so fabulous. Look at that. I'm kidding. Okay. Today is a wash, yo. Not really. And I gotta run because I gotta be somewhere. So let's pack this client stories. So she's telling me that she had developed chronic constipation for years. So being at that, she had Hashimoto's for so long, she was suffering from severe chronic constipation. And some people can go like 3 weeks without pooping, or they'll poop every 4 or 5 days, but just little nuggets that go bing, ding, 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 out your booty, and you don't empty your bowels. And that often creates hemorrhoids, which is veins coming out your booty, like little octopus tentacles. So she's telling me that she developed a fissure, which is a rectal tear, and she's telling me this story. I'm just listening, and she's saying to me that she was suffering incredibly, that she had a lot of pain since she had chronic fissures, chronic tears in her rectum. That she went to the supermarket one day, and she was in the where you can get like baking sheets and oven mitts and stuff like that, and she said that she started feeling a bowel movement. Now, I don't mean a normal bowel movement. Normally, if you don't have an injury like in your stomach or an injury on a joint, like for me doing deadlifts, most people don't feel pain on their knees or any stress on the knees because the knees are fine. But for my knees to just go into the deadlift position is like, ow, 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 ow. So sometimes things about the body you won't even know that are being reactive because you have no feeling there. So she was having a bowel movement, a small one, and the stool was rubbing against the wall where the cut was in her rectum. And she said that she started to scream. This client story. She started to scream in the supermarket, and to shut herself up, she grabbed an oven mitt, put it in her mouth like they did in 1875 when you were in the war and they had to cut off a limb because like it was all blown to bits. Yeah, she, instead of a piece of wood, she held on to she put an oven mitt in her mouth, bit down, screamed, and passed out. Okay? So that is one of my client stories, and I remember it because I was in utter shock that she's telling me this story that she was in that much pain. And a lot of you guys who have not had constipation as long as she's had, it's something to consider. Because more and more, so I'm taking these stories and I'm making them into content for this live stream on what to do or what not to do. So essentially, it just shook me, and I began to do the deep dive more about constipation, about fissures, about hemorrhoids, and just also about a thyroid disease or thyroid disorder. A lot of you guys are coming from foods that, and the reason why people develop constipation is for like a couple of different reasons. So one of them would be having thyroid disease. And essentially the reason why you can't poop, and a lot of you women and some men actually will have low thyroid function or low T3. They don't know it, but they start presenting some of the symptoms. So I want you guys to hear what these symptoms are because they're kind of life altering. You can have children one day? Yeah. Yeah, I will. Even though I'm 52, yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna stop reading the comments, go back to the story for a second. Even though I see the comments come in, but let's see here. Oh yeah! D-Watt says, please like up the stream, guys. I'm trying to get more people to my channel. And it looks like there's only 48 people here. Hopefully there's more. Hopefully this is incorrect. Creatine and whey. So creatine and whey, Mojave, is garbage. So I no longer support anything that's processed. But I'm going to answer some of these questions after I finish like one or two more client stories. So I'm going to tell you another client story that for me was one of the ones that stood out. I'm going to do two more because like one's kind of sad. And like I laugh with people, I cry with people. And I mean, we go there, trust. So the different clients that I have really help shape and mold how I actually look at my own life. Because, you know, just when I listen to people complain about, oh, I'm so restricted eating this way and it's so hard to get the family on board. I have a hard time going to a restaurant and knowing what to order. I feel so, you know, struggling and all this stuff, and it just kind of really kind of bothers me. Not the individual person because I don't know them, but it's sad to see that people have become so weak. For example, I was talking to a friend, I was at the gym earlier before I came here, and he was saying that his mom lives on some island in the whole Boston, not Boston, but Connecticut, Massachusetts. And you have to take like a boat and then like a little mini plane to this island. People live there, blah, blah, blah. And he said that, what was it? They were selling something, some type of like apples or something, and then you would just put the money in this thing and then pick from the apple tree or something like that. And he said that there was like bills just pouring out of this thing, but they have an honor system, and so nobody steals from anybody. And I was just like, reminds me of one of the stories that I have from going to Africa in my 20s, and I went to a small village when there was no internet, like there was nothing, there was no cell phones, no internet. And I remember when I went there, and I won't go into that story right now, but when I went there, I was so naive. I didn't know, I wasn't in like South Africa, I was in Africa, okay, where at that time 40% of the population had HIV, here by my stupid self, and you know, it's just not safe because I was like deep into the bush. But I digress. So this girl, she, I think she was in her late 20s, and she comes on. She's cute, you know. She's like, I can always see when it's somebody from like the Southern California area because they're like eyebrows are all done perfect and they've got the nails. You know, there's just like a SoCal look. Even though there's different types of people, you know, I'm considered like fashionable, but a tomboy. Anyway, so we're talking, and she's living with her parents. I'm like, why is she living with her parents? You know, and I was like, are you employed right now? And she's like, no, because I like to figure out what people's schedules are like. Do you have a job to go to? Do you have kids to take care of? She's like, no, I'm actually at home with my family right now. And I was like, okay, well, you're not going to school? Do you work from home now? She goes, actually, I have cancer. I was like, oh, snap. Yeah, I started getting cancer 5 years ago in one part of the body, and now it's, I'm not saying specifics because this girl probably follows me still. And it spread here, and, she's really concerned about her mortality. And here I have people like, I'm fat, and then the next minute you're talking to somebody who could be dead by the time this live stream airs, type of thing. So it kind of puts life into perspective. And we're talking, and she's just being too stoic. And there's just a problem that I have. Thomas DeLauer should team up with me, but Thomas DeLauer, which I fully respect, I'm sure he's a lovely guy, is not strict like Stephanie. Okay? Stephanie's in her 50s, you know what I'm saying? Trust, there was a lot of thoughts there that I just didn't say. So I said in my body. So we're talking, and when people are too stoic and they're nice and they're not rude, but they're just not telling you everything, and I said, okay, no one in this house knows what you're going through. Right? She's like, no. And I'm like, so you've been struggling with this for 5 years, and almost to the point that people are annoyed with this whole cancer thing. She's like, yeah. And I said, so you feel really alone, and you can't even tell people how you feel when it comes to aches or pains or concerns about death, because this is a 5-year, I'm kind of over it journey. Boom! Girl starts crying. She starts crying and saying, yes, nobody understands what I'm going through. I look great on the outside, but on the inside I could die, and I'm having all this pain. And I start bawling too. So we're both bawling, and I'm not trying to bawl now. Hold it back, girl. So, and these are stories that, in this particular story, was a reminder, like, stop complaining. Okay, so let me tell you right now what I told the Greek guy before I came to the studio. That right when I was about to leave, and y'all listen to this, because this is very important to this whole keto conversation, no, I was not low carb before keto. I was just eating a standard American diet. I thought it was healthy though. Keto Carnivore stuff went down the rabbit's hole by breaking my keto a while back. Besides the horrible bloating, I really seem to get depression on carb intake. Why is that? You could have sensitivities to food, and I will take your guys' questions in a second. Because people watching the replay are like, they're all into the story, and all of a sudden I start answering the questions. Right, people on the replay? So, the air conditioner just broke, and every window and things have to be shut in the studio, so it's starting to get a little hot up in here. Okay. Point is, she starts crying, I start crying, and the reason why I learned that particular situation or remember her so well is because I don't want to complain about how lucky I am, and not see how lucky I am and then complain about things that don't go the way I want them to. And that's really part of the story. Me going to the gym today, and right before I was about to leave, I see this guy, and I saw him last time like a month and a half tops ago. And I see him, and he's on a leg curl machine. He's on his stomach. He's doing leg curls. And I see a wheelchair next to him. And I was like, okay, maybe he like broke his legs or something like that. So I was like, okay, I was just kind of curious. And then I got up to move, and I look, and both his legs were gone. I almost freaked out on the inside. It freaked me out. I just saw this guy. He had 2 legs. And he didn't even have bandages like an ace bandage around. He was amputated at the knee. He didn't even have, and I remember seeing this guy all the time. and he didn't have, you saw like the stitches still in there fresh, swollen and was red. And I was like, I've never felt, I've never felt that, that sort of like shock, horror, pain, and then so grateful in that, like all those emotions at once. And because I was in an eye shot distance, when you see something you get shocked, I couldn't show him that I just saw that his legs were gone, because you could see in his face that it took everything in him to be there. Like, okay, my legs just got chopped off. I'm still going to the gym. Dude was in the gym. Both legs gone. Month and a half. It was like he just recovered enough, and like the day the doctor said you can go back to the gym, he went back to the gym. And wow. So that's not a client, but when I get clients like this, because I've gotten many cancer people because they heard about this story with my mom and keto, and so they think that I'm like the cancer specialist, and I'm not. But I get people in these situations, and every time I see somebody go through something, if I'm struggling with something, I'm like, no, girl, you are fine. You're perceiving everything that's stressful in your head. I almost felt sick. I felt sick, not that I was seeing this guy, but I felt sick that I'm so lucky. How lucky am I? Like, I just got this, it's not fair, because I'm 52, and now I have a knee injury, you know what I mean? So what? I've had 10 surgeries on my left knee. I was on crutches for 4 years, and I mean, you can't feel bad for yourself when you look at that, right? Dude didn't even cover up his knees, like swollen, red, all the sutures going around the knee joint, no legs. So these are some of the things that I want you guys to realize when it comes to doing anything that you want to do. Like if you want to do keto and you gain a few pounds, don't freak out. Figure out why your hormones are jacked, because that's the reason why you are gaining weight. Do your due diligence, do the deep dive, and find out why you are gaining based on your endocrine system. It's not about calories. It's about your hormones. And, I have a keto course. So right now we're doing a Keto Carnivore challenge. So I give them like tasks that they need to do each day. And then, and we're going to do this just for 2 weeks. And when you take a decision to do something, you can't get freaked out that it doesn't go exactly the way you want it to. If you've already started carnivore and you still have loose stool, I think somebody's talking about loose stool, or you still have, like you might have like histamine reaction, instead of getting freaked out by it and then you gain 10 pounds because you've got histamine exploding out of your body because you're starting to eat mono foods, instead of getting stressed out about it, what would be good is just try to figure out what the problem is with your system. If it's your gut, if it's your adrenals that sit deep inside your body, under here but inside the body. So that's what I want to say. I have another client story. Now this one's kind of funny. So this is a vegan situation here. So I was doing a consultation with a guy. Normally it's the woman dragging her boyfriend or husband into consultations. This time it was the guy. The girlfriend was in another room. And then she came into the room later, but I was doing a consultation. Everything was fine. And then he was being kind of weird when she wasn't in the room. No, he was more relaxed. When she walked in the room, his demeanor changed. And I could barely talk to him. And he goes, I said, well, you should probably get like your girl on board and get the whole family on board. It's really, really important to, he's like, well, my girlfriend's strict vegan. I was like, oh. And then she's annoyed. She's annoyed that he booked the consultation. She comes from around the back of the camera into the frame, and she's just like, I don't agree with this. I don't agree with this keto thing, and keto is gonna give you a heart attack. And she was just like blah 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 blah, and I was like, oh honey, I'm glad I'm not like with her, because he was getting chewed out. He was trying to improve his, well, he was overweight, so he was trying to improve his health by trying to balance his insulin. And he's got this strict vegan girlfriend, and she comes behind the camera. She's chewing me out, and I said, look, honey, I am just the messenger. She's like, I don't agree with this, and, this is going to give him a heart attack. This is going to make him gain weight. And she got so mad, and then he was getting so embarrassed. And I was embarrassed for him, to be honest. So that's just another. She stormed out. She stormed out. And after that, because I told her, I said, look, I'm just the messenger. This is, this is before carnivore. Because if it were the carnivore days, whew. All right. So I'm going to just state very quickly as well. When I have clients, what makes somebody adapt faster than another person is the one who says, I will do whatever it takes, so just tell me what I need to do. And these kind of people, they've hit this wall, because I had another client once. This guy must have been in his like late 40s, early 50s, and he puts this is another cry thing, puts his arms up, and he goes, and he has wounds all up and down his arms. And he says, I have extreme eczema. I'm in pain all the time, and I can't take it anymore. Can you help me? And when he put his arms up, I started crying on the spot. So these kind of people, or just other people, are the ones who are like, I'm tired of feeling horrible, and I'll just do whatever it takes. These people adapt very quickly. I don't care what type of horrible health issue you have, because I have a client right now who was type 2 diabetic, 400 pounds. He's another story in the context that his wife brought him into a consultation. He was super doubtful of it. He ended up doing one on his own with me, and at the end of the consultation with him, he was like, I'm in. And he's been in, and he's dated, like, this couple's so amazing. They helped me with a lot of things. But he told me that he had, this is yesterday, he told me he had protein from his kidneys in his urine. And he was like, what do you think? And I said, obviously this is a complication of having incredibly high blood glucose as a type 2 diabetic. And he agreed. But he said, do you think keto can heal this? And I said, well, you're actually on Keto Carnivore now. And he's like, yeah. And I go, maybe you might want to sit at that dietary measure right now to protect those kidneys from any type of oxalates or anything that might be, remotely oxalate-wise on the kidneys. But with that said, I think one of the main reasons why people don't adapt is because they can't stabilize their blood sugar. When you do keto, you're never going to have a blood sugar of 0. So if you had a blood sugar of 0 as a ketotic person, it doesn't matter how good your ketones are, you're going to need enough blood sugar for your red blood cells to survive. And so that's why when people do keto, they'll start to notice that their blood sugar is between, most of them is like around 69 to 80 if they're very ketotic. When people start going into the 60s and 50s, now you can be in the 60s and even the late 50s and still be ketotic, but most people are just hypoglycemic. They feel really awful. So the point is, does he think that this could heal him? I'm like, well, yeah. But you're just going to have to be really, really disciplined and do this over the long term, because now the adrenals are pumping out the cortisol, and too much cortisol is the problem with everyone, right? So you have the signaling between the hypothalamus, pituitary, and adrenal axis. And so when you don't sleep well or you can't manage stress, even though you guys think you can, you can't. Many of you cannot. that this is this is a pressure, right? A pressure on the body via the adrenals. And if the gut doesn't get fixed, you're releasing too much adrenaline and too much cortisol, which helps bad microbes grow in the gut, which sends the signal back to your brain via the vagus nerve. And then it's just a cycle, right? Overstimulation of your adrenals, cortisol, then your gut gets weak, histamine starts to rise, and then you're just in this negative loop. And so what I try to explain to people, that it's a process. You don't adapt on keto or keto carnivore in a few weeks. It can take months, and that's okay. Because if you're patient enough, as you're addressing your poor health prior, you think you have good health when you have like menstrual issues, you're aromatizing, you have low T, people have got, acid reflux, sciatica, pain here, loose stool, ADD, depression, all of these things are all over the place, chronic fatigue. And if you want to fix those things, you can't focus on weight loss. You guys have to focus on healing the body. Because the reason why you start gaining weight in the first place is because your body's inflamed and it's stressed out. So you just have to look at it all differently. But the adrenals are so important because they're connected to the gut and they're connected to the thyroid and ultimately the middle of the brain. Let's see here. Keto Carnivore, Stephanie, I went down the rabbits. Okay, read that. Let me see. Okay, I think I got most of them. Are you afraid of cooking kills nutrients? Why not go raw? I hear cooked meat is dangerous from Sverige. Not Sverige. His name is Sverige of Goptis. No, I'm not. I'm not a millennial. Okay. I'm in my 50s and I am in the best shape of my life. So no, I do not think you should go fully raw. You also have to worry about, you're not slaughtering your own meat. Neither is very often Sverige. So if you're not cooking, because if you got histamine intolerance, you ain't gonna do well on raw meat. Sorry. So you got the food slaughtered, then it's frozen, then it's shipped to a supermarket. Then I don't know how long it's in the supermarket before you eat it, even if it's grass-fed. And that whole time, I think it's like a month or something by the time it's slaughtered to your mouth. Don't quote me on that, but I think it's that. From slaughter to your mouth, bacteria is on that the entire time. And if you have histamine intolerance, which I realize I do because I was getting bug bites that were swollen up, so I know I was producing too much histamine via the mast cells, then no, absolutely not. I'm not going to go fully raw. Not until you have a really strong gut. Now, if he's got great gut and all this kind of stuff, fabulous, great for him. Fabulous. Okay, thank you. Yeah, Bunny down. Thank you. Where's Deborah? Oh, Deborah's not here. I know, we got like a few troll comments. And I really like it. I think every once in a while, if Deborah's not here, it's really great to get those trolls and then just ignore them. Which I saw this comment, and I was like, people say stuff that try to get you triggered. People are lonely. This is a sad world we live in today. And if it's somebody in my age group, you're really sad. If it's a millennial, you get a little free pass for just being dumb. Yeah. There's a lot of before and after keto results clients. Many of them. There are many. But, do these people want to share their story online? A lot of people are very, very afraid to be on the internet. People are afraid to be in my private Facebook group because they think, there's a government conspiracy and the camera can see your apartment. So yeah. Oh, how I cook my pork belly? Well, I stayed with this Chinese girl once and she showed me and I was fascinated. She had a big, huge thing of pork belly and she put it in boiling water for like a minute. I think it was like a minute and a half. And then she strained out the water and she did and this is what I've done ever since. She did a oil and salt rub. So she rubbed it up, but now I do like a butter and salt rub. And then she put it in the oven, and I can't remember the degrees because it was in Celsius. And But she had it there for like, maybe she had it like 45 minutes to an hour. So the heat matters, you know, high heat means less time, low heat means more time. But when that stuff came out, I was like, this is the craziest, yummiest pork belly I've ever eaten. So now I do the same. Stephanie, I don't feel mentally well on keto. Is it better to leave the diet? I leave the diet. The diet at least. You mean you left the diet? I leave the diet now. Maybe I have problems inside my body for digest fats or protein. Okay, this is definitely somebody not from the U.S. And that's okay. Jose, you good? Jose, I just need to know more. Like, if people don't feel well mentally, it's because they're not making enough ketones and they're having low blood sugar, right? Which might be giving you brain fog. If your blood sugar's low, your ketones are low, or your blood glucose is high to low, your ketones are low, and then your body has no gasoline to drive the car. So you're not going to feel well. You probably feel very brain foggy. Have bloating and a lot of H. pylori. Yeah, so with H. pylori, I definitely suggest carnivore. Yeah. So H. pylori, I believe somebody said it was from, you get it from, it's a bacteria from, okay, I'm not going to quote it because I was like going to say like cats, but I'm not sure. Anyway, what it does is it eats at the mucus lining of your stomach or intestine, and it does a number on your body. Like if you have leaky gut, it gets worse when you have a H. pylori infection. And what you can do there, people use mastic gum and matula tea, I think, to kill that bacteria. And also just strengthen the gut wall, because when you have a balanced gut, then the good microbes can help fight off that H. pylori, the bad microbes. If you're constipated, a shar-shars have a lot of bloating, and a carnivore. And what happens when people do carnivore now, I've done it enough and talked about it enough with clients, that the microbiome's changing in your gut, and maybe, I don't know if it's the gallbladder. That's what that guy was saying. He thought it was the gallbladder. I don't know if that's a problem. Some people are getting loose stool, but it only lasts for like a short time, a few weeks, and then it goes away. FYI. But shar-shar or char-char or whatever, you should probably try carnivore for your bloating, because it's probably off of some vegetables that you're eating. You might even have to consider not eating eggs or butter if it's that bad. Still waiting? Y'all need to go to High Intensity Health and be like, Mike, where's my phone? Like, I know he's getting the video out because he just sent me an inbox on he sent me a DM, like with a thumbs up, or yesterday I was talking about the adrenals on my stories, and he'll say nice things and comment on my Instagram, which is Stephanie Ketogenic. But I think Mike is just getting backed up with, he interviews a lot of people. I mean, a lot. So I think he's just backed up, and he doesn't like to drop his videos all at once. So if you interview 6 people, he's probably going like one person a month. That's what I'm figuring. And so, but what I would do is bug him. Go to his Instagram, which is High Intensity Health, or go to his channel and say, Steph, what up? Eating keto for 2 years, what time is it? Okay, fine. I gotta go home soon. Stop taking the pill, okay, you're a woman, 7 months ago, and after 3 years, no periods, still your private group help. Keep hearing I need carbs to ovulate. Okay, so Sio laser, that is such a lie. Anyone who says you need carbs for anything is someone who's never done keto long enough to actually even know. They hear it, they read studies. The problem is that all these studies have been done like 30 days. They're just trying to get past the 30 days now. So there's not a lot of data out there for people to say what you can do and can't do on carnivore or keto carnivore or just plain keto omnivore. But what I can say, you guys, is that I've been doing this clean for 12 years nonstop. No refeeding, no alcohol, no nuts, no caffeine, no sucrose, no chewing gum with xylitol, nada. Okay? In Swedish, ingenting. So, I can say that what happens to your body this year, that year, another year, and of course you can start ovulating if you're doing keto the right way. So, what's her name again? The one who's talking, Sire Laser. The group will help. I don't know if you get your period back on the group. And even if I did a one-on-one consultation with you, I would never guarantee that would get your period back. But I'll tell you one thing, honey child, you're going to get a lot of freaking good information that can benefit you, and it's not just about keto. It's like I said, your adrenals, your sleep, your circadian rhythm, your gut biome, your endocrine system. All of these things matter when it comes to getting your ovaries to start working again. Yes, the pill is nasty. That's why I tell people, women, listen to me right now, okay? Because I'm speaking to this camera. Oh, actually, it's up there. I'm speaking to the screen that's right below the camera. Try your hardest to get off all of these, like shots and IUDs and birth control pills and HRTs, especially women. HRTs, listen to me now, okay? HRTs are not safe, okay? Point blank, period. Y'all want to use some progesterone cream because you go through hot flashes? Then you need to cycle off that stuff, because the goal is not to be on these hormone replacement therapies. The point is to fix your adrenal glands that are deep inside the body. People are like, the adrenals aren't there. I know they're not there. They're in the body. You have to, you really have to protect them. So when your ovaries stop working, and men, you go through this stuff too, that you don't go through like male menopause and depression and all this. Let's see here. I have an IUD. Keep trying to tell, man, I want to get off. Well, Char, if you don't want, who's that woman? Laser, bio laser. No period for 3 years now. That stuff's dangerous. When they push your progesterone down and raise up your estrogen or raise your synthetic testosterone in a woman's body, you messing with God, okay? I'm just saying, you messing with nature. You do not want to do that. Yes, a lot of clients were able to lose a significant amount of weight over time. In the collectively, all the people I've worked with, which is, I stopped counting after 2000. So probably close to 3,000 now. It's a small percent, maybe 5% actually. It's not just, people can lose weight because they're balancing their insulin. Remember, this is all about your endocrine system. If you can drop your insulin, you can drop your insulin without even doing keto. That's not the issue. If you can't keep that blood sugar moderate to low stabilized, that weight's going to come back. Casein is toxic. So the body does this thing called cross-reactive. So if you grew up on bread, which we all have, or some kind of wheat or grain or something, the body begins to stamp, like it puts stamps on things that it shouldn't, and it thinks now that certain things that you're eating are wheat, like casein and cheese. So your body has the same inflammatory response that gluten has. Now some people are more sensitive, and that's why when they're like, I don't feel well when I eat cheese, I don't feel well when I eat wheat. But if you feel fine in time, you'll notice weird things happening, like you'll get moody or cranky or tired or itchy, or you become constipated on this cheese stuff. And there's too many carbs in milk, plus it's like from sick cows. Who's eating raw milk? Too many carbs. Who's drinking raw milk? And the cream has too many carbs too, and most people are not doing. And get off the coffee, people, if you want to protect your adrenals. Now I'm going to do a live video. You guys, I got to go. I'm going to do a lot of traveling in the next weeks coming up, and I'll announce that. But I guess I want you to realize the time it takes to keto adapt is the time it takes for you to stop making excuses why you have jobs that keep you up too late, while your kids are in sports at night. Kids don't need to be at sports at night. They need to be connected to nature and the circadian rhythm. It's up to you to stop drinking the coffee and the green tea. I had a client yesterday who's like, I eat chocolate. And I was like, so what's in it? Xylitol or sugar? She's like, I don't know. And I was like, okay, you say you've been doing keto for 5 months, but you eating chocolate. Like, you don't even know what kind of sugar is in it. So, it's just most people, and this is sort of concluding this client stories. Shout out from the hills. Okay, cool. Stop exogenous hormones. I mean, look, in the rarest of cases, I'm for it. You know, or people who are doing exogenous hormones for years and the balls don't work anymore. Look, that would suck, right? Testes don't produce testosterone, and so you're trying to get it from other places. But if you are fine and you've got a remotely sort of somewhat balanced endocrine system or reproductive system, don't mess with Mother Nature. Because when you get older, Mother Nature gonna come knocking at your door and mess with you. Trust. So the reason why I'm in the health that I am at 52 is because I've been obsessed with getting my butt to bed on time. To do all the right things to repair the damage from the dumb, stupid human past. So that would be breathing, fix my posture, don't sit like this anymore. Like, get out of a chair, walk, move. I got a bicycle living here in LA. I was like, no more driving. You're going to ride your bike. You're going to go to bed early. You're going to diaphragmatic breathe. You're going to time out your food. You're not going to neglect. You're not going to neglect your body because you don't have time. So the biggest reason why most people don't adapt and don't do well either on carnivore, because people are doing carnivore, eating too much protein. Some people got this stupid kind of thought, you know, they're like, oh, keto versus keto carnivore. There's no such, keto versus carnivore. There are no such thing as versus. They're the same. One has vegetables and one doesn't, okay? Because if you're doing a carnivore diet on low, lean fat, lean meat, you're not producing ketones. Your body's still dependent on glucose. You're not eating enough carbohydrates, so you're not having carbohydrates. You don't have, you're not eating enough fat. The body will start to break itself down, and that's why you get stories like, why do I have crepey skin? I'm starting to get dark circles under my eyes. I'm really, really tired. People don't get enough electrolytes. And so therefore, you have to have your fats high. And if you're going to do carnivore, make sure that you get organ meats because there's no point. So for the first company, I was going to partner up with Jude, but it brought out, the infrared rays were too strong and brought out melasma. So I think that's one thing I hope they start telling people. Like, you can't put that stuff on your face if you're a woman. Especially women who are Latina, white, and Asian get melasma very easily. And I got it. So with that said, I would say, stop saying Y'all don't even know. I'm gonna oh, do people see that? Oh, okay, sorry. I think that's it, you guys. Don't forget to like up the stream. Support on an ancestral gallbladder. Oh, that was a good comment. Yeah, your hormones are very low. So you can, look, if you have low hormone, you won't have the hormones that you had in your ovaries. If you guys have low T, you're not going to potentially get the hormones back in your testes. But you can get your adrenals to work properly, and they will keep you through as you get older. So when my menstrual cycle finally stops, then I'm going to keep this shape, not 100%, but I'll keep it for a very long time because right now I'm still protecting those adrenal glands. So ancestral gallbladder. Now, I love this company. And I think I'm actually going to work with them. And I'm going to show you guys. I love this company. They do everything. Brain, thymus, spleen, kidneys, gallbladder, bone marrow. What else am I missing? Heart, brain, I said that right. Like, who does that? It's absolutely amazing. So I don't want to pre-hype this company before we actually start, but they're going to send me a package and I'm going to go and try all the supplements so I can actually give a proper review so you guys know what works for what. It's called Ancestral. It's amazing. It's desiccated organ, not from nose to tail. I don't know why people say nose to tail. It's from head to tail. Raw dairy products are no. Yeah, unfortunately 9 Mars, except unless it's raw butter. It's just there's just too many carbs in the cream and in the and a lot of you guys have histamine. I know you love your dairy, and I know people think that it heals the gut wall. But with people who have severe histamine issues or severe leaky gut, it can actually do the opposite. she's getting old. You know, I talked to a friend today at the gym. I talked to a lot of people at the gym, not gonna lie. And I'm 52, I think he's 54. And I said, would you want to be young again, younger in years? He's like, maybe. And I was like, not me. Hell no. I would never want to be a millennial ever today. I'm so glad I was born in 67, you guys. I'm so lucky. I lived most of my life without the internet. I traveled around the world. All of my crazy traveling trips around the world were done without a cell phone or with the internet. Honey, it is like, I can't even tell you. So I'm able to keep my health and not be sagging anywhere and be, right for the picking, right? But then I have the experience in life to know who I am. So I'm not influenced by the trends today, right? So I'm my own person. I love it. I'm almost 59 and loving it. Carnivore makes you calm, for sure. Yeah. That's okay, Deborah. We had like one troll who's trying to say that my something was bigger than my something. But it's all good. I'm actually leaving this stream. I'm about to go. I can't talk. But anyway, thank you guys. I hope this helped. It was just a quick upload. For those who are saying that my intro is too long, I don't care. Because that's what you do when you're in your 50s, is not care about everybody's chattering opinion. Y'all need to learn how to find an opinion in yourself and stick to it. And don't let people sit and push you around and tell you what to think. So with that said, thank you, Tamara P. I will have shorter versions of my intro, but we had so much fun filming it, right? The Greek guy?
Yep.
Yep, we had so much fun. I was like, no, this is like a really great representation of who I am. I always say that I'm a skateboarder. You guys have never seen me skate. So I thought I would just put a little thing together so you guys could see what I've done, Dr. Oz and speaking at the Paleo Effects, and I've traveled around the world speaking and all this kind of stuff. So I thought it'd be fun to put my intro. And now I gotta go, because I got to travel, and I gotta get ready, and I gotta get stuff organized. And it is no air in here, I'm sweating. Bye! Bye guys, stephanieperson.com, and don't forget to sign up for my course, stephanieperson.com. Oh, my Instagram, Stephanie the Business. No, that's my Facebook. I'm getting old. Stephanie the Business Person, or my Instagram, which is Stephanie Keto Person. Bye! I've got some energy. Yes, right?